So recently I was talking with a friend of mine about Fallout 4, and his argument was that it's completely unrealistic to have 200 years after the bombs fell, everybody's still living like a bunch of peasant farmers, and there's trash all over the place, and nobody has done anything enterprising like harnessing all the robots that are wandering around to rebuild technological civilization. It makes a lot of sense if we understand economic forces, particularly those behind capitalist market systems. And no, this is not going to be a Marxist rant. So, when you first set out into the wasteland, you encounter three basic types of people. You have your farmers, subsistence farmers, basically medieval level, trying to just keep themselves alive. You have your merchants who go around, salvage whatever they can, carry it someplace where they don't have any of that, and sell it. And that's how they make their living. And then, of course, you've got your raiders, who really just steal from the other two groups, and that's how they survive. Nothing is built up for commerce. There's no real cities. The closest thing you have are Bunker Hill and Diamond City, which are basically just trading hubs. There's no manufacturing that happens. There's no real industry. Basically, what you've got here is a self-reinforcing economic structure, because the most effective survival strategy for each individual is to either be a subsistence farmer that creates everything that they need in order to survive, or steal from people who do. There's really no incentive to specialize in a particular crop or to manufacture a specific good, because the likely outcome of that is you will die. Until
people of the Commonwealth, do not interfere.
So the mission that you get from the Brotherhood of Steel to procure supplies can be done in a number of different ways. One of them opens up a door to a vibrant capitalist economy developing over the next few generations.
Your mission will be to ensure full cooperation of the civilian farmers, by any means necessary.
What would you take for your crops?
Now there's a question I don't get every day. Honestly, I couldn't hand him over for anything less than 1,000 caps.
Deal.
When we harvest, it's all yours.
Now these farmers, they don't have any crops, so they have to get food somewhere. They also have a fairly large sum of money, never mind the inherently deflationary nature of using 200-year-old bottle caps as currency, that they can use to buy other goods, which means somebody has to supply them, which is a big boost to the merchant class, and not just in the salvaging sort of way, but they actually have to transfer larger quantities of newly produced goods, primarily foodstuffs, but other things as well. And now that the farmers have become a vital resource for the Brotherhood forces, because that's where they're getting their food from, it gives them an incentive to protect those settlements. And now, because those farming settlements are protected by the most powerful military force in the region, they are able to grow without fear of constant raider attacks, which in turn makes them more productive, most likely more specialized, draws in more protection, which of course also creates a larger market for the merchants. All the while reducing the economic incentive to be a raider, because the risks increase. If you project this forward for several generations, what you have then is not a Dark Ages style stagnation of technological and social development, such as you had in the first 200 years of the Commonwealth, but rather a constant upward expansion driven by self-interest and market forces. And it's also worth noting that in this particular story thread, the outcome that leads in that direction, the outcome that leads to a capitalist market economy, is dependent on the player deliberately choosing not to be a dick when given the orders to procure those supplies by any means necessary. Something to consider.